Having finally learnt to turn, I took a break at the rest house at the foot of the mountain. The sight of muddy kicking up snow before my very eyes was so brilliant that I stopped in my tracks. My goggles were covered in so much snow that I couldn't see a thing. "Aha, Toru, you look just like a snowman." Muddy laughed. I took my goggles off and wiped the snow off the rest of my body. "Seems I'm better suited to falling over than skiing." "That's not what I meant, Toru. You're a fast learner." Muddy also took her goggles off and smiled at me. It had been several hours since I'd seen her smiling face, and it was like the sun finally peeking out from behind the snow. I looked at her once more. Her black hair really stood out amongst her white ski wear. Able to ski through the toughest of slopes, she'd steal the show anywhere. I think anyone would highly anticipate the beautiful face beneath those goggles. That was just what happened at ski resorts. If it was muddy, I thought. If it was muddy, nobody's expectations would be betrayed. Muddy, raised in snow country, had been showing off her skills, which annoyed me, but now I felt proud of her. Not only was her bare face beautiful, but I knew just how smoking she looked hidden beneath that thick ski wear as well. "You want to go one more time?" "Eh? Again?" I repeated, complaining. We'd been going so hard since the morning that I could barely stand. "Come on, just one more time." She put her hands together, as though begging. "Let's go back. And besides, the weather looks like it's about to turn bad," I said, pointing to the sky. It wasn't a lie. The sun had been poking out of the clouds until just before, but now it was completely hidden. Now the whole sky seemed heavy and black. "Wow, it really is. There might be a blizzard tonight." Muddy frowned. "So then, let's go back." We piled into the four-wheel drive we borrowed from Muddy's uncle, Kobayashi-san. I'd first met Muddy in April this year, at university. I attacked her stubbornly and daringly, and it was autumn by the time we had reached the stage of several dates. But no matter how much I pushed, she didn't respond, and it was like fighting a wrestling match all by myself. So when she asked me if I'd like to go skiing with her, honestly, I was shocked. She said her uncle, Kobayashi Jiro, ran a pension in Shinshu. But apparently because it was so far from the ski resort that even in the middle of the snowy season, it saw few guests. Therefore, he'd let us stay for real cheap, and so Muddy invited me. Of course, I happily said yes, and yesterday, December 21st, we arrived in Shinshu. The sun had long set by the time we got back to the pension, and snow had started to fall. Spur, which the Kobayashis ran, looked like a log cabin from the outside, while inside was decorated white. It was a fashionable pension. The menu was international, or perhaps knew no country bounds. At any rate, it was varied and delicious, leaving us most satisfied. Rather than being in a slump, it had even been featured in magazines and was rather popular apparently. So for them to offer us such a cheap price because of a lack of customers. He told us we weren't imposing, but I noticed that when we arrived yesterday. Muddy and I unfortunately didn't end up in the same room together, which is to say, of course we didn't. I went back to my room to change, then returned to the lounge by the front door to wait. A sofa surrounded a large brown table. We sat there and waited until dinner was ready. The moment we sat down, we heard some female voices coming from upstairs. They sounded like office ladies, but they were probably the same age as us, or a bit younger. 3 women came down the stairs chatting. "I didn't think it would be this far from the ski resort," said a slim woman with long hair. Her eyes were a little harsh, but you could say she was beautiful. She seemed a little superficial. "But they said the food here was great, right? Look, it says it right here." The woman holding an information magazine said, pointing to the page. Her body type suggested she cared more about the food than skiing. Even now, she held a bag of snacks under her arm and was eating some. She seemed a little overweight, but still charming, like a panda. "And this is why I didn't want to leave it up to you, Keiko. If it was just to eat delicious food, you'd go all the way to Tokyo. Jeez," the woman with long hair said angrily. "Hey now, this place isn't that bad. I think a place like this will have great service as well," the other girl wearing glasses said. She had short hair like a boy and patterned glasses that suited her. She looked like she'd be the most competent at work. "Which girl do you like?" Muddy whispered in a cold voice. "What a stupid question, honey. The only one I like is you, baby." I shook my finger at her. "You moron. Don't get ahead of yourself," Muddy spat. "I'm sorry, but could you take a picture with us?" The woman wearing the glasses held out a camera as she approached me. Here it was. This was the problem with being a handsome guy. With that in mind, I stood up and approached the women. "Ah, I don't mind at all." "Well then, what pose should I?" The girl with glasses panicked and stopped me. "Ah, no, we don't need her manager. Thank you." "Her manager?" "You're the actress Harada Momose, right? You were in that ski movie, Take Me Sometimes as well." What the? They were asking for a photo with Muddy, not me. They had mistaken her for a film actress. The plump woman was so nervous she was even sweating. "Ooh, of course. Hey, manager." Muddy looked at me while grinning. "Okay, thank you." The girl with the glasses handed me the camera. Yeah. Just gotta take your picture. I get it. Okay, say cheese. I pressed the button as they said, "Su." They no doubt all looked like clowns. They all laughed with me, unaware of my bad joke. They were already friendly. "What? You're not her? Oh, I really thought..." "Sorry, I got a bit carried away." "No, Aki's the one who got it wrong," the girl with long hair continued. "Sorry for calling you her manager." The girls lowered their heads as they took the camera back. "Ah, it's fine. It didn't bother me at all," I lied. "But Muddy-san really is pretty." When they put it like that, I couldn't feel bad about it either. And just like that, they got to introducing themselves. The girl with long hair, who complained that the ski resort was so far away, was Watase Kanako. The cute, plump girl eating snacks was Kitano Keiko. And the girl with glasses holding the camera was Karamura Aki. They were all 18-year-old office ladies. We just arrived here before, but how's the ski resort looking? Kanako-chan asked me. But today was our first day out there, so it was hard to say one way or the other. Muddy answered for me. It's pretty good. The lifts weren't that busy either. Kanako-chan seemed to like skiing just as much as Muddy, and she started firing off questions about the snow quality, the best places to ski, etc., etc. The other two watched them talk with less interest. Kanako-chan had probably forcibly dragged them along. At that moment, the sound of an engine approached and stopped behind the pension. Seemed a new guest had arrived. Before long, the bell above the front door rang, and a voice rang out in a loud Osaka dialect. "Ah, thank God. I thought we were gonna die." A couple entered the building with snow coating their head and shoulders. The man looked to be about 50, short, with a red face, while the woman, slim and tall, looked to be in her mid-30s. "Ah, Kayama-san, welcome. You're late. I was worried." Kobayashi-san came out from the back and welcomed them. "A ridiculous blizzard has kicked up. We almost got lost." Looking outside, the snow had started to pile with a lot more force than before. The old cuckoo clock on the wall chimed 7 p.m. Instinctively, I looked at my digital watch, and it said it was still only 6:55. Maybe it was slow. "Dinner is ready, so please, enter the dining hall." Shibasaki Midori-san, the part-timer in the kitchen, came out. "I'll take care of your things, so please, Kayama-san, make your way to the dining hall." After Kobayashi-san was done with the register out the front, he directed the couple towards dinner. The woman looked over at me, and our eyes met. She looked sad. For a brief moment, that was how it seemed anyway. She smiled and then lowered her head. I panicked and did the same. Before I knew it, Muddy was also looking at her. I thought she'd crack another joke, but unexpectedly she whispered, "She's beautiful, huh?" "You're even more beautiful," I flattered her. "I can see right through your flattery, so don't bother." She puffed out her cheeks. It wasn't flattery. I looked deep into her eyes. Muddy's cheeks went red, and she looked away, quickly standing up. "Well, let's go." She seemed to be blushing. Knives and forks had already been laid out on the dining tables. The 3 girls and the couple who had just arrived were already seated. We sat down at a table for 2. A candle in the shape of a Christmas tree sat in the middle of the table. The tiny flame wavered in Muddy's downcast eyes. She placed her pretty hands near the middle of the table, as though inviting me closer. Unconsciously, I reached out and softly touched her hand. The moment our hands touched, Muddy jumped in surprise, but she didn't withdraw her hand. "What do you think about me?" I dove right in and asked her, "What do I think?" Muddy looked away and feigned ignorance. "I mean, do you like me, or do you hate me? If I hated you, we wouldn't be here together, right? So, do you like me?" She nodded so slightly that if I hadn't been paying close attention, I wouldn't have seen it. Even though my expectations had been set when she invited me to go skiing with her, finally understanding her true feelings was like ascending to heaven. I had no idea what the food that had been brought over tasted like, nor what was going on around us. Muddy was in front of me. That was all I needed to know. At some point, an empty coffee cup had been placed before us. The meal was already over. Suddenly, I looked around. I noticed a shady character in the room for the first time. A man in a coat sat in the corner, as though fading into the background. It was mealtime, and yet he wore his coat and hat, and on top of that, he wore black sunglasses as well. He didn't look like a skier or a businessman. Yakuza. That was my first thought. But would a Yakuza member really come all the way out here? Whatever. Having just learnt Muddy's true feelings, that was the last thing on my mind. The Yakuza or Mafia, who cared? "Shall we go to the lounge?" I said. "Yeah, or would you perhaps rather watch a night game?" I hadn't expected that from her. "You're joking, right? They're not gonna be playing in this blizzard." Not to mention my body was sore and bruised from the skiing. According to the weather information, it's not really the weather for that, Midori-san said from beside us in her apron. "For now, it's safest if you don't leave this building." The age of part-timer Shibasaki Midori-san was unknown. I think she was probably in her 20s, but sometimes she looked like a high school student, and other times she looked like an older lady. Perhaps she spent all her free time on the slopes because she had a snow tan and looked just like a surfer. Is it really that bad? I was both relieved and worried. According to the weather, it'll be a blizzard unlike any we've seen in recent years. This time, it was the other part-timer, Kubota Toshio-san, came over. Toshio-san was a self-proclaimed 6th grader at university. He loved skiing so much that he constantly neglected his credits and continued working part-time here. He stood at over 180 centimeters tall and had a body type that spoke not just of his proficiency in skiing, but in all sports. He could also compete with Midori-san for the best tan. Being in front of him made me kind of nervous. I mean, I was with my girlfriend. I checked Muddy's response. Her eyes weren't sparkling, nor did she seem worked up. Thank God. We're not gonna starve locked up in here, are we? Toshio-san shook his head and laughed when asked. Don't worry about that. We're pretty far from the city, so we always have more than enough food on hand. If we include the canned food, we have enough here for everyone to eat to their heart's content for 3 weeks. The thought of being locked inside for 3 weeks was horrifying. No, maybe it wouldn't be too bad actually, if it was with Muddy. I stole a glance at her. What's wrong? No, nothing. Toshio-san then said regretfully, 3 weeks might be a bit much, but we probably won't be able to go skiing tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's a day off anyway, so you can probably extend your stay by another day or two, right? Yeah, depending on my uncle. With things being as they are, he'll probably let us stay a little longer. You're okay with that, right, Toru? No way, I have work. Think about me as well, please. Really? Then you can go back first. I'll stay here. Muddy's face dropped. But will I even be able to get back alone in the snow? You can crawl back, can't you? Hey, Toshio-san, you're good at skiing, right? I want to practice a little more. She reached out and touched his arm, her voice sweet. Oh yeah, tomorrow's my day off too. I'd completely forgotten. I've been forgetting a lot of things lately. Panicking, I stood up, grabbed Muddy's arm, and pulled her up too. Toru, what are you? Thanks for the meal. I dragged Muddy out of the dining hall. Out the front, the 3 women were yelling at Kobayashi-san about something. Hey, please calm down and speak slowly. What on earth happened? Like we said, when we got back to the room, this was on the floor. Their hands shook, and one of them handed Kobayashi-san a small piece of paper. I looked over, and there were letters written on it in red pen. Tonight, 12 o'clock, someone will die. Tonight, 12 o'clock, someone will die? Everyone gulped as I read it out loud. A few seconds later, Kobayashi-san finally spoke. Someone's just playing a joke. In bad taste, Muddy frowned. It really was in bad taste. But was it really a joke? But someone entered our room to leave it there, right? It's so creepy we can't sleep there anymore. Kanako-chan's face twisted like she was about to cry. If it was on the floor, someone might have pushed it under the door. The door was locked, right? When Kobayashi-san said that, their faces lit up. Oh yeah, they didn't have to go inside. Apparently they hadn't thought of that. But it's still creepy. Aki-chan with the glasses said, Shall we change your room then? Luckily we have a spare one free. Does it have a TV? Keiko-chan asked, but Kobayashi-san shook his head in apology. I'm sorry. Our rooms in general don't come with a TV included. Only 2 rooms have one, and you're currently staying in one. And the other? It's sealed shut. Therefore, if you'd like to watch TV, you'll have to stay in the room you're currently in. What do you want to do? The 3 women turned to look at each other. I can't stay there. It creeps me out. That was Aki-chan. Shall we go without the TV? Kanako-chan said. But I want to watch TV. Keiko-chan said like a child. Forget about the TV. Why did you even come here? I came here to ski. To ski. Kanako-chan blew her top. I know, but I can't miss it. Tonight's the final episode of 101 Maltese. I hadn't seen it myself, but it was a serial drama about pairing dogs that was popular recently. In the end, it was a pretty poor joke and there was no point changing their room, so they withdrew upstairs. But I wonder who did such a thing. There are no children staying here. Muddy looked at me with joking eyes. Was it, perhaps, you? I hadn't expected that. Kobayashi-san looked at me, surprised. You got me. It was me, I said, grinning. Toru-kun, you didn't. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Kobayashi-san's complexion changed and I panicked, denying that it had been me. Please don't say that to the other guests. That's not going to make them feel better about things. For someone in the customer business, I guess a joke like this was no small thing. Suddenly, the front desk phone rang. Hello, this is Spur. I pretended not to listen to Kobayashi-san as he spoke, and we sat down on the sofa in the empty lounge. He spoke loud enough that we could hear him clearly from where we sat. Ah, Mikimoto-sama. I'm terribly sorry. Dinner is already over, but we have a room for you. Yes. Near the station? It's about a 30 or 40-minute drive from there by car, although it's snowing terribly this way at the moment. Looks like someone else is coming. Maybe the snow slowed them down, Muddy whispered. It has to be. I hope they don't get lost. Is that so? Well then, we'll be waiting for you. The middle-aged man came down from the second floor as Kobayashi-san hung up the phone. You don't mind if I turn the TV on, do you? He asked casually. No, go ahead, I answered, and he grabbed the remote from the table and turned the TV on. Seeing that a boring drama was on, he flicked to the next channel. Damn, it's not on anywhere. Looks like I might have to wait a bit longer. He turned the TV off and turned to face us. Did you kids happen to hear the end of it? Huh? The end? Stocks. The stocks. This is the middle of nowhere, so they don't get an evening edition. If I'd have known this was going to happen, I'd have brought a radio. Kayama-san, you promised not to think about work, Kobayashi-san said. Ah, Kobayashi-kun. No, it's not work or anything. I watch it every day, so if I don't, it feels wrong. And your wife? All you've done is work since you got married and haven't taken a single trip. It would be nice to take a trip with just the two of you for once. You're the one who said that, Kayama-san. Kobayashi-san suddenly fell quiet when he realized we were there. Ah, guess I should introduce you, Kayama-san. This young lady is my niece, Muddy, and this young man is Toru-kun, my potential nephew. His potential nephew? Uncle, come on, don't go deciding things like that for yourself. No, please, go ahead,